everyone, Alexa here from the blog theduvallhomestead.com, and today I'm going to take you along an early spring home tour of our homestead. It's still early in the springtime here in the Pacific Northwest. Sometimes we can get freezing temps all the way through April, but for the most part I think the chance of snow is gone and you're walking around and you can smell fresh cut grass. Everyone's out mowing their lawn, taking care of their garden, getting it ready for springtime, and I just love all of that. You can hear the birds chirping. The sun is rising earlier and staying out later. This is normally the time of year that chickens start laying eggs again, so it's very exciting, kind of a rebirth of season and time, and I am enjoying all of it. So I want to take you along as I refresh our house for springtime. I actually have quite a few things to show you on this home tour, so I'm looking forward to it. There's something about getting rid of that winter stuff that is just exciting. So hopefully you get a few ideas for how to redo your home for spring and maybe do some handmade projects. So we'll start off in the kitchen. Obviously the first thing I want to do whenever spring comes around is bring in some flowers. So I went to my local store. We have a grocery store that sells flowers and a couple of farm stands here and there, but really not a whole lot has bloomed that has grown from seed around here quite yet. I just brought in a few fresh flowers for spring. One in the top right there with some white blooms that's super cute. And then I have a couple new bowls that I got from an antique store that I'm putting in the shelves over here. I use these a lot for my fermenting of bread and sourdough, so it's just nice to have them right there so I can grab them whenever I need them. Some fresh flowers in a vase over here, and I just made some sourdough brioche bread that got a little bit burnt on the top, and that is what you see there. And this is another one of the bowls I got from an antique store I just love it. It's got a really pretty blue pattern on it. And behind that you can see some bone broth thawing out. I have another sourdough loaf behind it. That's kind of our regular loaf that we eat every morning. My butter crock, my candle, and my vanilla extract that's been going for a little while now. Our local hardware store had some beautiful flowers that I just put in some pots, put them around the stove. I like to look at them when I cook. I still have my candles that I keep out. I like to have a couple candles around the stove and light them in the evening. Whenever I have empty spots in the kitchen or around the house anywhere really, I usually fill them with vases. Even if I don't have flowers for them, just seeing white vases I think is really pretty. I also have really small little cream cups. We don't actually use them for cream, it's just for decor. And those are good fillers too if you ever have empty spaces that you're trying to fill. Moving on to the dining area and the living room, which is where I'm sitting now. This is all one room. It's a great room. I just put a white runner on the table and the tulips and a couple of handmade pottery bowls that I just got from a pottery warehouse that we found in a town near us. Anytime I can find something that's handmade or antique or unique to our area, I try to buy it. I have the two candles on the table as always. I just kept the table decor really simple because of course when we try to eat on the table, if there's a lot of stuff on it, we end up taking it down. So this hopefully will be able to stay up for a while, and the tulips are going to be blooming and those always remind me of spring. This table and the bench that goes with it is definitely the focal point of our entire great room. If you've been around my channel for a long time, you know that my husband and I built this table. If you're interested in building your own table, I have a link to free plans on how we did it and the write-up and the video and everything. Moving on to the living room where I'm sitting right now, where it looks like the lighting is very bad in this video, so I'm sorry about that. Not a whole lot of changes here other than just putting fresh blankets on the couches, fresh pillows. I swapped out the blue blanket that I had in winter for a green one. Put another pot of tulips down. On the coffee table that's in the living room, I have this really pretty vintage tablecloth. It's a little square tablecloth and it's from my mom, and I don't know where she got it, but it is just very old and perfect for Easter because it's got little ducks on it and blue checkered pattern, and it's just darling and I could never throw it out. On the mantle I put some vases that just go together nicely with the white. Now on the windows, I'm excited because I finally got some herbs to go on these little windowsill shelves that we have. These windows have always been a struggle for me to figure out how to decorate because they are just very plain. There's not even a crown molding around them or anything. So I thought, let's make some curtains. So I sewed these curtains. They are just rod pocket curtains. And I will have a tutorial for how to do that if you're interested in sewing and you're a beginner like I am. Very easy, very quick. So I just put those up there and I really like how they look. It's very sweet. My next project might be to have curtains over these windows behind me. That's for another day. So I just put these herbs by the window and the curtains to go with them and it looks good. It's very spring-esque, and then once the danger of frost has passed in a few weeks, I'll put these herbs outside because I think they'll do better out there. Okay, on the porch we have just a few potted plants. Not a whole lot going on out here other than just cleaned up the porch. I had to take down the Christmas wreath that I had for November, December, January, and through February. It was a Christmas/winter wreath. Okay, I wanted to make a wreath for the front porch and realized I did not have a spring wreath. So I just went to the backyard and got, these are weeds that were growing that have little flowers on them. And I thought, I will make that into a wreath because I basically just have this vine wreath that I use as like a base normally. So normally I use this as a base and I put fake or real flowers all around it. And I could honestly just put this up by itself because it's pretty, it's branches for spring. But I went to the backyard because I thought, why not just see if there was something there that I could use. And this is what I came up with. They are technically a weed, but there's flowers on them. So I'm just gonna use my trusted cable zip ties to attach these flowers to the wreath, and then they'll just dry and it'll be a dried floral wreath. Anything with green in it is going to be just fine for spring. Didn't have the camera on when I did this, but I think this is a little bit bland, and I thought it'd be so nice to have some flowers, and I do. These, I just cut these, they were in a vase and they're getting old anyway, so why not just dry them? So I'm just gonna put a couple of these around. Porch needed to just be cleaned off. It was just taking a beating from the winter time, so I just cleaned it up, put a few potted plants out there, and brought back my grain sack pillow that I'd had last summer that I sewed from grain sack. It's just perfect for spring. And then I got the wreath on the door and everything looked complete. It's amazing how a couple potted plants and a wreath can make everything look complete on the porch. We are getting ready to have chicks come at our house this spring, and so we're focusing mostly on them and getting them set up and less on the garden this year. Although we will still get a garden, but I'm not doing anything from seed because it just doesn't work out as well because we don't have an actual greenhouse, and with the climate and the slugs that we have here, it's so hard to get them to grow from seed. So we'll probably just buy the starter plants and put them out there in a month or two when they're ready. But the focus is mostly going to be on the chickens because you may remember we used to have them and then we haven't had them for a while. So going to get them all set up again. Anyway, more on that later. For now, it was time to just get the inside of the house refreshed for spring, which I really like to do every season. It always takes me a second to get the motivation to decorate or just change things up. I don't even know if it's called decorating because I don't buy a lot of decor, but I don't like seeing the same thing over and over. And even though it's hard to get myself to do it, I'm always really happy once it's done. Once I get this video out and look around my house and everything is in a spot and it's at least done for a day. Even though we move things around, we have our baby, the flowers die at some point, it's just nice to have it all set up. And then it's easy to maintain it for a couple months. It's just those little things you can do for your house that make a really big difference. And you don't need a whole lot of money to do it. And to me, it's just about putting the effort in. So that's what I did. All right, well, that's it for my simple early spring home tour. Maybe I will do a late spring one once we get our chicks and everything else is done in the house, because this was only just a couple of rooms. Let me know in the comments below how you are getting ready for spring. If you're brand new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Every week I post a new video on farm to table recipes and homemade natural living. Thank you so much for stopping by the Duvall Homestead.